Hi, Ragini Michaels here. In this video, I'm going to share with you the foundation of my new book, Unflappable: 6 Steps to Staying Happy, Centered, and Peaceful, No Matter What. I'm also going to share how it came to be and what it means to you and your personal transformation. I'd been a spiritual seeker for about 15 years, and I was really quite frustrated with the entire process. I was pretty smart, so I got all the concepts, and I understood it, and I did meditation retreats, and I got a guru, and I went to India actually more than the requisite number of times. I was kind of a fanatic about it. And I practiced really hard to be positive and to be present. And after 15, going on 20 years, I still wasn't making much progress. And I realized that I didn't really understand what I was going for in terms of behavior. My background in neurolinguistic programming, which is a behavioral change model, and hypnosis, which works with the unconscious mind, led me to begin to explore exactly what it was that I was actually looking for, and so maybe I would recognize it when I finally got there. So what I did was make a model of the psychology of the mystics, which is what I'm going to share with you right now, at least part of it, the part that's relevant to the foundation of the book. So listen up, here it is. So what makes a mystic a mystic? What makes them different from you and me? Because ultimately, they are the same as you and me. They're born, they're raised in a certain environment, they have a family, they grow up in a certain culture, they have beliefs and ideas and emotions and thoughts and problems. So what is the defining characteristic that actually makes the mystic into a mystic? And actually, it is that person's dissatisfaction with simply believing in God or the divine or the universe or the mystery. And here, please use your own language, whatever it is you feel comfortable using to refer to that larger system that we're all a part of. The mystic in that dissatisfaction steps into insisting that they have a personal and direct encounter with the divine. So believing's not enough. And this is what actually makes the mystic cross over that line from the ordinary way of thinking to the mystical way of thinking. This insistence that they have a personal experience. So I began to study and take a look at a lot of these people, and some of them lived a long time ago, and you're going to recognize a lot of these names. I don't have to tell you who they are. And some of them also, I discovered, were women. Up to the time I began this project, I didn't realize that there were a lot more women who were mystics than I had ever realized before, and I didn't know too much about them, but they were certainly there. And some of the mystics that I studied were poets at heart, like Hafiz, or Hafiz, as I'm told is the correct pronunciation. Rumi, who I'm sure you know. Paul Reps, who a very modern Zen master, who also was a great poet. And Kabir, who you may also recognize. Some of these mystics were known for their ability to be so articulate in describing their way to this place of knowing. Ramesh Balsekar, a modern mystic, lived in this time. Almas, who is the founder of the Ridwan School and the Diamond Work, living now. Thomas Merton, Meister Eckhart, Ramana Maharshi, who was also of our time frame. And some of the mystics I took a look at were very modern day, like Osho, who was my own personal spiritual master. Punjaji, also known as Papaji, both lived in our time frame, along with Joseph Goldstein, Jack Kornfield, and Sharon Salzberg, who are currently still doing great work with people through the Insight Meditation Society in Barre, Massachusetts, and also Spirit Rock down in California. Some of them that I looked at you might not know at all. People like Sengsten, who was the third Zen patriarch, Tahui, Nisargadatta, who also lived in this century, Heraclitus and Zarathustra, who were Greek, and Douglas Harding, who was a British fellow who also lived in the 1900s. There was a stunning fact that emerged out of looking at all these people, and it was really something that actually stunned me. In looking at the way they saw the universe and life, I discovered that all of them looked at the world in 8 identical ways. They saw things, they perceived things in the same way, regardless of their gender, regardless of the tradition they were raised in or believed in, and regardless of the time period in which they lived. So I was so taken by this that it really caught my attention for many years and ultimately ended up with the foundation of the Facticity book being 3 of these 8 worldviews. And it was these 3 views that actually became the basis for my book, Unflappable, 6 Steps to Staying Happy, Centered, and Peaceful, No Matter What. So let's take a look at these worldviews because they are the difference that actually makes the difference between your ability to be flappable and unflappable in daily life. So the first worldview says that everything is impermanent. Now, for most of us, we don't like this because impermanence for most of us highlights the end of something that we're enjoying, or perhaps even not, but usually impermanence is not looked upon as a happy thing. Whereas from mystic psychology, the perception of change and impermanence is that because it's permanent, it's something to embrace, it's something to learn from, to make friends with. And when that occurs, from the mystical perspective, you find that change is actually quite trustworthy. It gives you guidance for how to better live your life. It becomes a great advisor to the reality of life. And this is why mystics invite impermanence to sit at the head of the conference table anytime a decision is being made. Why? Because it actually gives you the key to that inner peace in your daily life. It gives you the knowledge and the wisdom for how to navigate the transition between the end of something and the beginning of the next new moment that is arising. Powerful perspective. The second worldview that Facticity is based upon is the recognition that reality has multiple levels to it. And these multiple levels are actually creating many layers to our personal reality. And these layers exist simultaneously, as you can see. They all exist at the same time, which can look a little confusing at first. But every layer of these multiple levels of reality have their own rules for how to best navigate and move within that layer with success and ease and comfort. One of the most important things about this worldview that's relevant to the average ordinary psychology in everyday life is that it tells you that you cannot impose the rules of one level onto another. Now, many people who begin looking for conscious living and embodying their spiritual values in their daily life try to take what they've learned from the spiritual dimension and actually make this level of reality, your everyday life, function with those rules. Not the way it works from the mystic perspective. So one of the things that you're going to learn is how to do that differently. It's a very, very powerful, different way of looking at reality. The third worldview is that duality, or what most of us think of as opposites, if we think of opposites at all. Duality is the way that life is. Now, we all know the yin-yang symbol, and we all believe we understand what it means. What we may not understand is the impact that this has upon our daily life, and how understanding it in a different way allows you to move in a more unflappable demeanor. Because you can't get away from duality or opposites. They're actually the fundamental principle that our entire universe is built upon. They don't just exist in your mind. Your physical, mental, and emotional and energetic realities all are based on the polarity principle. The ordinary psychology with its mind's eye is blind to this hidden harmony. But the mystic psychology allows you to see the harmony between opposites, and thus there is no problem in navigating the continual change between them. These are pretty powerful worldviews that actually are the difference that make the difference. So because mystic psychology is actually pretty user-friendly in understanding the secret to human happiness, Unflappable takes this decoding and gives you the secret to human happiness. It shows you how mystics remain undisturbed by the ups and downs of daily life, while they're simultaneously participating in it. This is the essence of what it means to actually live in an unflappable position, to participate in life as fully as you can while remaining undisturbed on the inside and often on the outside by the ups and downs of daily life. Unflappable will also show you how to become unflappable too. It gives you my facticity 6-step process, and the facticity there is it relates back to the fact of those 3 basic worldviews that we just talked about. It also gives you 8 mystical guidelines to follow that show you precisely what it is you might need to be doing a little differently to get you closer to experiencing a life where you get to be unflappable or know how to easily navigate the ups and downs of your emotional journey. Unflappable shows you how to do this, and I'll tell you, it's pretty simple to understand intellectually, but it's not so easy to do because it does require you to sort of look at yourself in a different way than perhaps you're used to doing. And I won't lie to you, this is a process, and it takes time. And the reason I say that is because most of us have a not too healthy relationship with time, and we're always fighting with it. So there are pieces later on in the work where you get to understand a little bit more about how to have a better relationship with time and the fact that your evolution does unfold in a certain way. Then I have a cool surprise that comes up in Unflappable. Not only does it have ancient wisdom, but it combines this wisdom with brain research, the newest things on the neuroplasticity of the brain, how your brain can actually absorb new information and lay down new neural pathways and get you to actually be unflappable, and that works much better when you have your brain helping you out there instead of objecting. We also use some of the tools of energy psychology in the book that show you how to get rid of the extreme emotional charge on some of the emotional issues that you have. It's also based on neuro-linguistic programming, which is a model for how to actually get behavioral change, how to get you to actually do things differently and think differently. And also it combines knowledge from the field of hypnosis, which is actually the best set of tools for how to actually communicate with your unconscious mind and get it to do what it is you'd like it to do to help you get where you want to go. Unflappable gives you access to a secret partner that you may not really have realized you have, and that is your own unconscious mind. It has the capacity to help you. And what Unflappable does is it helps you and shows you how to harness the power of your unconscious mind. And harnessing that power and having it moving you in the direction of your spiritual goals and living them in your daily life will accelerate your personal transformation forward in a way you may not have realized was possible. It also activates your unconscious mind to work for you instead of against you. And why? Because it will now have the missing piece to the puzzle of how to be happy as a human being. Unflappable helps to free your unconscious mind to live with opposites in a totally new way, so that there is less stress in your life and a greater access to having more presence when you'd like it, less confusion, and a great deal more clarity about what is going on and why things are happening the way they are, which decreases negativity and helps you to actually be more positive, not only in what you speak, but also in how you think. And it greatly decreases your self-judgment so that you can have much greater ease with actually stepping into a place of happiness and feeling good about who you are and what you're doing in your personal journey. So don't wait another minute. Help your unconscious mind help you if you'd like. Learn this material as soon as possible. It really did change my life, and I really would like to share it with you. And if it's the right thing for you, jump right in and enjoy and use as much as you like, and send me any questions you might have. Thanks very much for your time. Take care. Much love.